Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. News at 12.
For the local scene, Tabaco City reaches national finals in Legislative Award. Tabaco City, through its Sangguniang Panglungsod, has been named a national finalist in the 2025 Local Legislative Award under the Component City category. The recognition will culminate in a national ceremony on March 5th at the World Trade Center, Metro Manila, where top-performing local legislative bodies across the country will be honored. Prior to reaching the national level, Tabaco City was declared provincial winner during the 2025 Local Legislative Awards recognition ceremony. The Local Legislative Award recognizes Sanggunians that demonstrate excellence in crafting responsive ordinances, strengthening institutional systems, and promoting transparency and accountability. City officials said the distinction affirms Tabaco's commitment to progressive lawmaking and delivering responsive public service to its constituents. Meanwhile, Albay boosts maternal care through pregnancy tracking training. Primary health workers across Albay underwent pregnancy tracking training on February 27 at Hotel Centro in Legazpi City to strengthen maternal health monitoring at the community level. The activity, organized by the Department of Health Bicol Center for Health Development, aimed to enhance early pregnancy registration, risk assessment, proper documentation, and timely referral of high-risk cases. Provincial Safe Motherhood Program Coordinator Maria Julian O. Garcia said an efficient tracking system is vital to safeguarding the health of mothers and newborns. Garcia said the training ensures that every pregnant woman receives appropriate care from the first trimester through the postpartum period. Nurses, midwives, and barangay health workers who serve on the front lines of community care participated in the session. Participants were trained to strengthen pregnancy registries, detect high-risk cases early, and coordinate closely with referral facilities to prevent complications that could lead to maternal or neonatal deaths. The initiative reinforces the province's push for proactive and data-driven interventions to improve maternal and child health outcomes. Moreover, serpent eagles returned to Albay Forest. 5 rehabilitated Philippine serpent eagles were released into a protected forest area in Albay on Tuesday as part of the province's celebration of World Wildlife Day 2026. The release was led by Albay Parks and Wildlife in partnership with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources to highlight the importance of conserving biodiversity. Officials said this year's global theme, Medical and Aromatic Plants, Conserving Health, Heritage and Livelihoods, emphasizes the connection between healthy ecosystems and the survival of apex predators like the Philippine serpent eagle. The 5 raptors had been under rehabilitation for several months after being rescued from different parts of the Bicol region. Due to injuries, displacement, illegal wildlife possession, and habitat loss. Before returning to the wild, the birds underwent medical treatment and flight conditioning to ensure they could hunt and survive independently. Albay Parks and Wildlife continues to serve as a sanctuary for displaced animals while strengthening its conservation programs and wildlife protection advocacy. The agency is urging the public to report illegal wildlife trade and support reforestation efforts to help safeguard the region's remaining forest habitats. In the national scene, party list reforms pushed in Senate. Lawmakers, alongside the Commission on Elections and other election watchdogs, pushed for changes to the party list system during a Senate hearing on proposed reform bills led by the Committee on Electoral Reforms and People's Participation. COMELEC Chairman George Erwin Garcia called for clearer rules on the substitution of party list nominees, warning that the current law allows groups to replace nominees even after election due to death, disqualification, or withdrawal, which he said opens the system to abuse. Garcia cited scenarios where winning nominees could all resign and be replaced by individuals who no longer represent the marginalized sector originally declared. And he also raised concerns about vague accreditation rules, questioning whether wealthy individuals living in exclusive villages should qualify as representatives of marginalized groups. Committee Chair Risa Hontiveros said it may be time to review the 2% vote threshold under Republic Act 7941, noting that the rules of seat allocation and limits have been shaped by both legislation and court decisions and may no longer ensure fair representation. Senate President Vicente Soto III expressed disappointment over what he described as the misinterpretation and abuse of the party list law he co-authored with the late Raul Rocco, arguing that the system was originally intended only for marginalized sectors such as laborers, farmers, fisherfolk, urban poor, indigenous communities, women, youth, the elderly, and persons with disabilities. While Soto urged strict enforcement of the 2% threshold so that only groups meeting it can win seats, Brian Poe cautioned that removing seat limits while strictly applying the threshold could allow a few large party list groups to dominate Congress. As Hontiveros assured that all views would be considered in the committee report. And in another story, Marcos 6 fuel tax cut power. Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is asking Congress to grant him emergency powers to temporarily lower excise taxes on oil and gas as global prices are expected to rise due to the worsening conflict in the Middle East. Speaking at a surprise briefing in Malacanang, Marcos said he is in talks with Senate and House leaders to allow him to cut full taxes if Dubai crude oil prices go beyond 80% per barrel or $80 per barrel, but he has not yet given details on how much the tax would be reduced. He said the tax cut would only be a short-term step to help the public deal with higher fuel prices and would be removed once the crisis eases and oil prices stabilize. Under the tax reform for acceleration and inclusion law or train law, fuel excise taxes are automatically suspended if the average world oil prices hits $80 per barrel for 3 straight months. Meanwhile, VAUSI cases are public crime DILG. The Department of the Interior and Local Government and the Philippine Commission on Women have clarified that violations of the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act are public crimes, meaning cases can move forward even if the victim chooses to withdraw or reach a settlement. Speaking at a recent DILG Kapihan, the PCW stressed that violence against women and their children should not be treated as a private family matter, as prosecutors can continue pursuing charges once a complaint is formally filed. The Commission said this policy shows that government's firms stand against domestic abuse and sends a clear message that such acts are serious offenses that cannot simply be erased by reconciliations. Officials acknowledge that many survivors hesitate to press charges due to fear of retaliation, financial dependence on their abuses, and social stigma, prompting local governments to strengthen barangay-level support and train violence against women desk officers to provide confidential and survivor-centered assistance. Data from the Philippine National Police shows 6,883 VAUSI cases recorded from August to November 2025, while authorities also noted more than 5,000 related calls to Unified 911 last year, underscoring the continuing scale of violence and the growing number of victims seeking help. For the news outside the country, Congressional panel releases Clinton testimony. Videos released on Monday by the House Oversight Committee show former President Bill Clinton stating under oath that he had no knowledge of the sex crimes committed by financier Jeffrey Epstein and that Donald Trump never said anything to suggest involvement and improper conduct related to Epstein. The nearly 4.5-hour deposition conducted behind closed doors in Chappaqua, New York, also included testimony from Hillary Clinton as lawmakers continued their investigation into Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell. Bill Clinton said he flew on Epstein's private plane several times in the early of 2000 for foundation-related humanitarian work, but stated he observed no misconduct and denied any sexual contact with young women introduced by Epstein or Maxwell, who is serving a 20-year prison sentence. Hillary Clinton told the committee she said did not know Epstein and at one point objected to a photo released publicly by a Republican lawmaker during the proceedings, while also saying the panel should question Trump about his past relationship with Epstein, who died in a New York jail in 2019 while awaiting trial. Both Bill Clinton and Trump are referenced in Justice Department files related to Epstein, though neither has been normally accused of wrongdoing, and Democrats have said the investigation is politically motivated, while Republicans maintain it is a matter of congressional oversight. Meanwhile, Middle East war disrupts air travel. The tension in the Middle East has caused significant geopolitical upheaval, leading to closed air routes, damaged airports, and hundreds of thousands of stranded passengers. The air traffic situation, already complicated by Russian invasion of Ukraine, has worsened following U.S. and Israeli attacks on Iran and its retaliatory strikes in the region, further causing disruptions. Several countries, including Iran, Iraq, Israel, Syria, Kuwait, Qatar, and United Arab Emirates, announced at least partial closure of their airspace. Dubai airports announced that it would resume limited flights on Monday evening, but Air France said it was extending its suspension of flights to Dubai and 3 other airports until March 5th. According to the aeronautical data provider Cirium, at least 1,560 inbound flights to the Middle East out of 3,779 were cancelled on Monday. On Sunday, 2,000 cancellations were recorded out of 4,000 flights, representing about 900,000 aircraft seats. The International Air Transport Association on Monday called on all sides to refrain from targeting civilian aircraft and airports, noting that it hopes for peace. IATA said Middle Eastern airlines accounted for 9.5% of global air traffic last year. It also warned that the war has unleashed uncertainty over air traffic levels and, crucially, fuel cost. And another update regarding this related to our country, Philippines told to tighten security amid international tensions. The Maritime Industry Authority has directed all Philippine-registered ships engaged in international voyage to implement heightened security, monitoring, and reporting measures amid escalating tensions in the Middle East. An advisory issued on Tuesday, Marina urged ship owners operators, managers, and manning agencies to observe precautionary measures to ensure the safety and welfare of Filipino seafarers and the security of vessels operating in or transiting affected areas. Marina said shipping agencies must continuously monitor maritime security advisories and warnings issued by the International Maritime Organization, the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations, and relevant flag state authorities. They must also always monitor their vessel's automatic identification system and global maritime distress and safety system. Marina likewise told operators of Philippine-registered vessels to maintain a 24-hour communication watch and report any incident, observe military activity, or any suspicious approach to the ship through the overseas shipping service. That ends our news break for today, March 4, 2026. We'll be back tomorrow for more updates. Thanks to our noon news break writers Elza Lorejo and Naomi Hernandez. And on the technical side, we have Richard Bobis and our PIO OIC, Sir Marty Gonzalez. This has been your anchor, Anessa P. Babb. Thank you for subscribing. Albay in my heart.